John Hammond is an Arkansas transplant who spent 20 years loving his visits to the Mississippi Gulf Coast so much that he eventually moved here with his family. A fiction author, playwright, scholar, and former journalist, John now serves as creative writing and theater teacher at a local high school. He has published several plays and short stories to his credit, along with published academic essay on Tennessee Williams. The story he's reading today, Miscellaneous Isle, with an I, is set on the coast and inspired by the lives of three different men. It was a finalist for the 2023 Robert Day Fiction Award with New Letters, and for the 2023 and 2024 J.F. Powers Prize for Fiction with Dappled Things. Though still unpublished, it remains John's personal favorite and title story of the magical realism collection he hopes to share soon. Please welcome John Hammond.
All right, I'm going to read about 40% of this story or so, about 11 minutes. Miscellaneous Isle. Tom stared at the sliding doors of Grisham's Market. In the glass slumped his sun-warped reflection, backed by the maroon Honda Goldwing. His motorcycle helmet had come to rest on the parking lot, overturned like a chalice. Normally, the doors of Grisham's would be closed, eager to part for approaching shoppers. Today they were open, if only by inches, and jerked back and forth in a spasmodic rhythm. It was Saturday morning, a touch after 6:30. Marie was still asleep at the house. The bread trucks and the hand-me-down cars of the teenage stalkers should have already reached the parking lot, and yet, so far, it was only the Goldwing and Enrique's Camry. Tom's image sharpened in the glass, and he saw that he'd ridden across Ocean Springs in cowboy pajamas and a white undershirt. For a moment, he wondered why he was here. Then he remembered the plunger, the argument, the angry snapping of the plunger's handle, the mess he forgot and left overnight in the toilet. He needed to clear up that problem before Marie awakened, but not to worry about the doors. As a regular, recognizable customer, he would part them like Moses and enter with authority. In the store, Tom would pal around with Enrique, his friend and fellow parishioner of St. John Henry Newman Catholic Church, and also the longtime assistant manager of Grisham's. He was a great guy, Enrique, a wonderful Christian and a thoughtful parent. Muttering the mantra of Enrique, plunger, home, Tom slipped through the doors. He had always admired Grisham's for its miscellaneous aisle with an I, which was just really an aisle with an A, someone thought would be fun to misspell. Its end caps were shipwreck themed, with driftwood signs spelling out SOS on one cap, help on the other. He had jumped on his motorcycle just after 6 that morning because he recalled seeing plungers at Grisham's in the past, maybe even a variety of plungers. He knew Grisham's like the beads of his rosary, so he would ride up, capture the plunger, and gallop home before things got out of hand in the bathroom. But now, impossibly, he was once again outside the store. He had felt in his shoulders the effort of parting the doors, smelled the sharp aroma of cleaning supplies, sensed the warmth of the building's heater. Another step, though, and he was back outside in the cool air, gripping the edges of the sliding doors, a sharp pain striking his chest. It was the second time that morning that this cramping sensation had struck, payback for the third and fourth whiskeys consumed the night before. The pain also came with a kind of mental fog. Moments earlier, when he had felt the pressure for the first time, he placed his helmet on the seat of his bike and pushed his fingers into his ribs. His helmet crashed to the pavement. Now the fog and the pain were clearing again. Plunger, bathroom, and Enrique. All right. Pause. Stand here by the door. No rush. He's right inside. He always is. Be here with God. Breathe. Every day, Tom rose at 5. He read his Bible verse by 5:15 and prayed the rosary, contemplating one of several mysteries, such as joyful, sorrowful, or glorious, wrapping up with Hail, Holy Queen. To you do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. At 6 each day, he calmly plunged the clogged toilet in the master bath, then promised himself once again to call Back Bay rooting. But this Saturday's clog was exceptionally fierce, so there he was, the roping cowboys of his pajama pants, driving cattle across an unforgiven river. He pulled the doors apart and stepped inside once more. This time, squinting his eyes and holding his breath, he made it past the welcome mat. Grisham's was dark, weird, empty. Only one row was lit, and Tom knew at a glance it was Miscellaneous aisle. He listened for the shuffle of feet, but no one came. A cart was loose in the store. A lone calf strayed from the herd that he coaxed back to the others out of a sense of duty. Still no Enrique. Tom and Enrique studied together for deaconship. They went through the process for more than 4 years before Tom walked away. He left the formation program after a disturbing talk with Father Martin concerning the death of Tom's dad. Enrique went on, eventually donning the striking dalmatic of Tom's desire, with the stole draped diagonally across like a sash from left shoulder to right waist. "Receive the yoke of the Lord," spoke the bishop as he placed the stole, "for his yoke is sweet and his burden is light." Father Martin beamed with pride at Enrique that day. After Mass each Sunday, Enrique and his family heartened Tom with conversation in the narthex. Tom envied Enrique's deacon vestments and his many young children, but he wouldn't confess the sin of this envy, not to Enrique, and certainly not to Father Martin, to whom he had spoken in such un-Tom ways when he quit his deaconate studies. There was nothing, in fact, that he was comfortable confessing to Father Martin, and so Tom felt a dark well of sin within him. One of the sins involved Enrique. It gnawed at Tom that they spoke only at church, while he breezily invited other friends to watch the Saints at Wing Station or to come to the house for dinner. Tom felt shame for kenneling their friendship, as if Enrique were an exotic pet he loved to visit but would never dream of adopting. Recently, Tom exhumed the years-old notion of inviting Enrique's family for a barbecue, but the more he pondered it, the more nervous he grew. Enrique and family were Guatemalan. Could Tom even find Guatemala on a map? Would a Guatemalan family eat the things Tom cooked on the grill, or would they demand spicier foods, things Tom couldn't stomach, and scoff at his burgers and brats? What if Enrique's people were multi-generational cattle ranchers, experts at marinating, spicing, and grilling? Would the Enriques speak Spanish to themselves like a secret language, ignoring Marie completely? He agonized over these thoughts as much as he yammered about knocking out the wall between the kitchen and the living room. And whenever he gave voice to either prospect, Marie would blurt, "Do it! Life's too short! I'm tired of talking about it!" But her agitation simply hardened Tom's view. The barbecue idea was far too contentious, so he settled on a subtle scheme to back his Sunday-only friendship with Enrique into Saturday, using Grisham's as a pregame for church. He would find Enrique in the store and request a preview of the service, catching up on church gossip along the way. Tom called out, "Hello," in the store and heard no reply, so he ambled harmlessly to Miscellaneous aisle and examined the plungers on display. He was right. Every option you could ask for was right there on the shelves. Tom was studying cup curvature when the fog of the recent past cleared sufficiently to reveal that the seed of today's plunger quest had been planted during a nasty argument with Chase the day before. His son professed physics at Penn State University and was home for the Thanksgiving break. The Black Friday argument, as Tom called it, erupted unexpectedly when Tom warmly invited Chase to stay through Sunday so they could attend Mass together. Chase no longer considered himself Catholic. "That's all right," Tom said. "We're all God's children." "Except when we aren't," Chase said, chuckling himself up to a low-key battle of wits. "If I go to Mass," Chase said, "there'll come a moment when they offer communion to you but deny it to me, and I will become the exile." "Nah, the host is for everyone," Tom said, "so long as they accept and believe that they are eating the body of Christ, which I don't. Of course it's not the flesh of Jesus. It's a freaking cracker. Whoa, Tom said, raising his arms. Marie banged dishes to drown them out. At the climax of the clash, Chase asked Tom if he thought the church was always right. And Tom said, yes, because you don't believe in something that's sometimes right. You believe because it's all the way right. That's kind of what it means to believe, Tom added. But how can you be sure, countered Chase? How do you know the church is infallible? Because I have faith, and I'm a good Catholic, Tom said, feeling flushed. So the church is right because it is. And you are right because you agree with the church. That's about the size of it. Sounds like circular reasoning, Chase said, and that's when Tom popped out of his chair and stormed off to the bathroom. It's also when he clogged the toilet off schedule. A rare afternoon clogging. A mighty clot of stuffing pie in prideful rage, and broke the aging plunger with his indignant pumping. Chase was gone when Tom returned to the living room, and so was his car. Tom panicked that the boy had taken off for Pennsylvania and the cycle would begin again, just like it did with his own dad. The holiday blow-up and the not talking and the occasion skipping that starts with excuses and snowballs into full-blown estrangement. No, sir, Tom said. Quickly, he called his son on the phone, and Chase, thank God, picked up. Of course I'm coming back, Dad, he said. Just making a little Black Friday jaunt to buy you something. Then Tom held Marie from behind, his hand shaking. She turned around in the bathrobe she often wore and told him that she knew that this was hard, that his daddy loved him. She was sure, even though he left Tom's mother, even though he left the Catholic Church and mocked it on his way out. When he died, Tom's father didn't receive last rites. And Father Martin had the gall to say that his daddy's spirit would need a long time to purge itself of sin before he could ascend to heaven. Tom quit the deaconate program on the spot because those were the most vicious words he had ever heard. Tom? Enrique was behind Tom, watching him tremble. What's going on, friend? Oh, good morning, said Tom, realizing he'd been hugging the plunger to his chest. He leaned out to Enrique, balancing on one jaunty leg to shake hands. There was comfort in the manly distance, and also holiness in the reaching across the chasm. You all right? Sure, I was just considering which of these plungers might be the best. Do you have an opinion? Well, we aren't actually open. Thank you.